Let's go to Mars.
Yeah, so the new project is called High Orbit Games, right in downtown 29 Palms. It's an escape room, but we like to think of it as kind of something a little bit different than that, a little bit more than that. It's a combination of a video arcade. It's a fully functioning video arcade in the front with retro like games like from the 80s and the late 70s. But then the main kind of item there is this immersive experience. You buy a ticket for, you go with your friends or your family, and it's about a 75-minute adventure inside of the building that takes you on this whole Joshua Tree themed adventure. It is like an escape room, but you're not locked in a room. You're not just trying to escape. It's more like a story that you're unfolding, a mystery that you're solving, and there are interactive puzzles. There's lots of audio visual effects and things like that. It's very much like a whole experience that you go on, a whole adventure.
Let's do G, H, 6, and 7. So you create a little square.
So yeah, escape room is like a very tough term because it's the thing that people know the most and it's the most specific, but it's just a tough one because there's a lot of different types of escape rooms, and a lot of people's association with what an escape room isn't always positive. Like escape rooms can be quite, frankly, sort of like tacky, cheap. Some of them were just like, they would rent an office space in like a strip mall and get IKEA furniture and put padlocks on it and call it an escape room. It can be quite low production. But then there are experiences around the world that are, I would say, like Disney quality experiences. They're truly magical, truly amazing, and those are the ones that we live for.
Yeah.
That's what we seek out. And the very, very first escape rooms, they said, you started in Japan, in like the early 2010s.
Yeah.
And then like Eastern Europe was an early adopter of escape rooms.
And then Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah. Boston's a lot of people during the pandemic, it allowed them to try new things.
Yeah.
And for me, that was like following a passion that I already had of escape rooms and immersive experiences, My creative partner, Thomas Meston, who's working on High Orbit with me, he and I have been really good friends for about 15 years now. And so he and I would love going to these kinds of things, whether it was like an escape room or, there's this company called Meow Wolf that has these like huge, elaborate, immersive experiences around the country. We just love that stuff. And
Is there a good escape room in LA?
bunch of good ones.
Okay.
Bunch of good ones. Yeah. One of the classic great ones is this escape room called Stash House.
Okay.
It's like a 90s drug dealer hip hop themed escape room. It's fantastic. It's so good. There's a great one called Lab Rat, which is you are a lab rat in a laboratory and you have to figure out how to escape from the laboratory.
Okay.
So you're tiny and everything's giant. It's super fun. All kinds of great ones. Ours, High Orbit, is kind of like one large escape room.
Okay.
It's definitely larger than average for an escape room.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a bunch of different sections. So it's not just like one room that you're in. There's actually, I think, 6 different rooms. So each room has kind of a different theme, but it's all part of the same story. The story is that the year is 1979, and you're on a trip to Joshua Tree with your family, and your dad is doing some weird research out in the desert in the middle of the night, and he gets abducted by a UFO.
Oh, okay.
And you have to spend the next hour figuring out how to get your dad back from this UFO to this mysterious campsite.
How cool.
So yeah, there's, it plays on all the tropes of Joshua Tree. You start in like a camper trailer, you come out into like an actual like exterior seeming campsite scene. There's like a saloon, kind of like a Pappy's style saloon, and like a crystal cave room, and like a flight control room, and
Nice.
all kinds of different
love
stuff. Plays on all the mythology of Joshua Tree.
Let's go to Mars.
The style of High Orbit is kind of pinned down the year 1979, right? So the very early years of video arcades, and that kind of The high orbit experience is kind of like as if you're in an early Steven Spielberg film.
Okay.
Like Close Encounters of the Third Kind or something like that. So that's kind of the style of it, that late 70s, early 80s style. And that plays into the music, just the scenery, all of that. But yeah, it's for groups of 2 to 8. The main kind of demographics we find come through are either families, like a whole family will come through together, or groups of friends.
Okay.
And like 4, 5, 6 is probably the average group size.
Escape rooms started to trend right after it started happening. Mm-hmm. And what do you think about the trend now?
Yeah, that's
still trending.
It's a good question, and it's a very interesting kind of like topic that I could talk for hours about. You're right. Like the traditional escape room that most people know sort of peaked in 2017, 2018. And now I would say a lot of those old escape rooms, again, the ones with like basic furniture and padlocks and combination locks and whatever, I think those are kind of fading out.
Good.
Those are sort of like disappearing.
Good.
And what's popping up in their place are hopefully, things like what we're trying to do, which is more immersive experiential adventures. More, instead of just like, here's an hour-long clock, get out of this room.
Yeah.
It's not going to be as much like that anymore. It's going to be more like a Disney attraction or something that you're embarking on. And there are many of those popping up now. Like still last year, there were so many that opened up. I'm excited to actually like get out there and try them because we've been working so hard. I haven't been able to try any. But there's a lot of new great experiences out there. We're very, very excited to kind of open it up to the desert. We live here, my wife, Bea, and I live here full time. And, this, both Invasion Joshua Tree, the game that I made, the reason I made it is because there wasn't a game that existed of this like amazing area that we love. And that's kind of the reason we're opening High Orbit. Like we love all of the staples of the desert, like the Integratron and Giant Rock and, just like all the mythology and the places around here. And we want to just like contribute something back to the lore of the desert. So that's really what we're passionate about. Yeah, the desert's weird and there's weird stuff going on, weird people, but it's cool. There's art, there's creativity.